And we are live. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to A Bookish Moment. I'm Sarah Burr.
And I am J.C. Kenney, and happy Tuesday afternoon, folks. We literally have some double trouble for you today. We have co-authors for, I think, the first time ever, so this is going to be fantastic to, dive in and chat with these two amazing ladies. And so, Sarah, I think it's time to get bookish.
I can't tell you how much of a treat we have in store for our viewers today because Wilnona and Jade's just life story is so fascinating, and the things that they have accomplished in such a short period of time. I can't wait to learn more about you ladies. But first, thank you so much for being here with us today. We're very, very honored to have you.
Thank you for having us.
Are you joking? It's a pleasure.
It is such a pleasure.
It's been so long since I've done interviews.
And also to be sitting here with people that actually write the genre we're
that
aspiring to write. So we're like, yeah, we're gonna be on their show.
Yay. So well, I mean, you've done so much. When you originally reached out, you sent me all of these wonderful interviews. Number one, that were taking place in London of all, which is my favorite place to be in the world. And your story is just so fascinating. So before we actually dive into talking about your book, which is The Famous House Cleaners, a Misfit Guide mystery, which love so many things about this.
Yes.
But tell us about yourselves. Tell us about your world, a little bit about what got you inspired into writing, but you also do so much in the media sphere. You've done reality TV, you've done your own podcast, you've got so much going on. So for our viewers who may not be familiar with you, tell us about yourselves.
Oh, that's always a fun question.
So I think
it's a loaded question.
I think that we should say our names first. So I'm Jade.
She has the blue lipstick, and I'm Wilnona, and I have the red lipstick.
Okay, so that's how. Okay, gotcha. I love that.
Well, also I have glasses, but I mean, come on, everyone uses that one. So our world. Do you want to talk about our zany world?
Oh God, it's more like a misfit guide than anything
else. So yeah, we kind of write misfit guides.
Yeah, so tell us how, I guess, your real life maybe led you to the world of cozy mystery and writing this story about two tech darlings that are forced to become house cleaners.
So I do have to say about the misfit guide, it actually did start out as we were also poets. So I won 2019 Poet of the Year. So it actually started out as one of the books that we wanted to write about some of the crazy things that we go through. And we had our poetry reading, and we'd be like, we'd like to apply to be your misfit guide. And you just start going down the things that has happened to you.
It's fun because in the beginning of the poetry book, there's a resume that actually says some of the things that happen in each book. For instance, for many years when we went on vacation, we assumed that when you went to bed on vacation, you got dressed to get woke up by a fire alarm in the middle of the night.
Absolutely.
And you had your shoes, because every hotel we went to for about 7 years,
no matter what happened, no matter what hotel, cheap motels all the way up to really high
star,
no matter what, it rang in the middle of the night, and everybody else is out there in pajamas and stuff. We have bottles of water.
We have bottles of water, blankets, dressed appropriately.
we actually have
we have chairs
on our back. We're ready. We are ready. We're oh no, it's going to be 45 minutes. Don't worry. We're just going to sit down here and enjoy ourselves. Everyone's how did you get dressed so early?
We went to bed.
We were nobody puts all that stuff beside the door in a no. This doesn't happen to y'all.
Yeah, so hence why we have the misfit guides. And when
that one time that you were pumping gas, but for some reason the gas hose got tangled up in her skirt, and so no matter what way she turned, just think Marilyn Monroe moment, y'all. It was just, and now I'm outside trying to cover. I'm come on, it's okay, we're gonna untwist it. I got it. And of course I'm 4'10" and a half, y'all, for anyone that doesn't know. So I'm super short, trying to cover my friend that's much taller than me. I got it. No one's gonna see a thing. I'm here. My short arms got you.
Yeah, that is natural people for the misfit guides.
I am.
Sarah, I think I am ready to just say, let's just turn the show over to Wilnona and Jade and let y'all tell stories for the next 25
Well,
minutes. Because just let
I
us
am
get
a
out of the
little.
way.
No, guys, I'm a little concerned because JC and I have this fear because I live in an apartment building where the fire alarm goes off like at the most inconvenient times. But knock on wood, we have never had it go off during one of our shows before. But if you guys are as in tune with fire alarms as like it is appearing to be, this could be a fun ride.
Well, actually, so we're talking to some of our friends, some of our more positive friends, and they were telling us because we would tell these stories and be like, that was crazy. It's kind of funny, but what in the world is wrong with it? And they were like, no, it's because of your energy. You bring the fire everywhere you go. There's so much smoke. It has to. I'm like, oh, that's okay. I'll take it. I'm so hot that I just have a smoke trail like going behind me, just wafting. Like hair is supposed to be, but it never does for me. I can't get that straight at all.
So this is actually Jade's story. This was Jade's first time writing a story. She wrote The Famous House Cleaners as a short story in one of our books. Which book was it? It wasn't Misfit Guys.
It wasn't Misfit Guys.
Cocktail Stories in the LBG?
No, it wasn't that one. No. It was the other one.
Okay. Sassy Sway?
Yeah, Sassy Sway.
Yeah.
It was the Sassy Sway one.
We have 28 now that we finished the second book of the Famous House Cleaners. We now have 28 books.
Wow. You guys have been busy.
Wow.
And
most of them are poetry.
Something. Most of them are poetry, so they don't count.
Do they count? I mean, they do because we wouldn't.
But so she wrote The Sassy Sway, and then we lucked up and got an agent, and the agent was like, do you have anything that's not poetry? And we were like, yeah, I got this. And they were like, love it. Do you have anything else that's not poetry? And Jade was like, I think The Famous House Cleaners would make a good novel.
Yeah, so. And then we were like, cozy mysteries, because I love cozy mysteries, y'all.
So
you see how
tell us about like how you found your way to the cozy mystery genre, because I always find it fascinating that like growing up I read a lot of Nancy Drew, and then I just kind of like went on to more detective fiction, but it's the amateur sleuth that I just love so much. So how did you find cozy mysteries? What was like your gateway into the genre?
So for me, growing up, reading was very hard. I have dyslexia. So when I finally started reading, I did read like Mickey Spillane and all these other ones. And then I love to laugh, y'all. I like laughing. And people would give me books, right? Because they were free. Like they were like, I can't have all these books in my house because they were avid readers. And so my parents were like, take me around so I could collect these books from these older people that were retired. Nice. And so they had cozy mysteries, and you know what? It was free, and I didn't have to bug my parents to go to the library. So you just read all the books that they gave you. Y'all, some of those books were not appropriate for an 11-year-old kid. I'm just saying.
You did hear that her first book was Mickey Spillane.
Yes.
Wasn't appropriate at all. Enjoyed it so much.
I started reading Mickey Spillane novel about a year ago, and it was inappropriate for somebody my age. It was like, I wasn't prepared for that.
I think we have read every book he's written.
Yeah, it was really great because when I started telling my the senior citizens that would collect, so I love Mickey Spillane. They were like, girl, I have that from like the 1960s. Hold on, let me get you my yellow copy. And so I got more and more Mickey Spillane, and my parents were like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're reading." And yeah, they didn't read what I read. And one day, my dad read what I read, and he was like, he literally was like, "I'm gonna throw away this book, but you can have the last 3 chapters because there's nothing like not knowing what happened at the end." Okay, you can't read the rest, but you gotta find out what happens at the end. I get that. I get it. You gotta know.
So that's actually a nice, like that was a kindness on his part. That oh my goodness. So
well, he was a reader himself. You have to know.
You have to know. And like even like regardless, like you always have to find out. So I'm curious, like how did you guys become friends? Like how did this partnership start? How did you start writing poetry together?
Yeah, we were this. We've been friends forever.
You didn't hear the question.
And then how we did poetry. Oh, it's so good. Though. Be careful when you make bets or try with your best friend in the world. Be careful, y'all, because the story might happen to you. Let me put my glasses, because here we go. So Wilnona says to me, we're driving, and she goes, I'm giving up on writing. I have to get a real job. I have to recognize that I am old enough now to get a real job. I have to get a real job. And I said, oh, okay. So she's like, this is my last book. I'm not going to do anything else after this. And she said, so what should I do? I was like, you should do poetry. You're so good at poetry. And she was all, thanks, bestie. You just want me to be broke for the rest of my life because poetry doesn't sell. And she was all, well, what would I even name this book? And I was like, and I thought divorce was bad. Oh, what book made her career?
So we remember you said earlier.
And I thought divorce was bad.
So we have a few thousand interviews under our belt, and everybody asks, how did the two of us become? So like for now, almost over 5,000 interviews, she's told the story, and I dance every time. I feel so when you tell your friend sarcastically, thanks, bestie. Make sure you're gonna be right. Because she wasn't be right. And all these years later, I'm still telling this story doing my dance. Oh God. So
it still brings me joy on the inside too. I'm not gonna lie.
It really does. I can tell. So like you remember you said about like we had interviews in London. That actually that happened. Our first European book tour happened about 5 months after our And I Thought Divorce Was Bad was published.
Right.
And we did 9 after that.
So I'm going to say this. Be very careful.
Okay, so I'm going to be very careful with this next question. So it sounded like, if I understood you correctly, that the Famous House Cleaners started out as like maybe a short story or a novella, and then it grew into the full-length novel. Could you maybe talk a little bit about that process of taking something that already existed and then expanding upon it until you got to that full-length novel?
It was a very interesting way to go, right? Because Wilnona and I are writing together, and I basically wrote a lot of those books, and like Pete and Violet are actually my dream children, because I just thought, what a great idea. What a great idea to have two young ladies in tech making their way. And not only that, but Violet is adopted, right? So her sister, well, we're going to call her flesh because that's how they view each other, right? Her sister is like, she looks Irish. And Violet is African American. She's black. And so everyone's just like, what do you mean y'all are sisters? And they just look at each other. They just look at the person very weirdly until they like, be quiet.
Yeah. So we have a friend that actually went on tour with us.
A really good friend.
A really good friend that went on tour with us, wrote on some of our books. And so we always be like, oh no, we're sisters. And we literally introduce ourselves as sisters. She is white, blonde hair, blue eyes.
Right.
And then so we have that problem a lot. People like, how? And we just look at them until they're like, okay, no, we're good. We're not asking any more questions.
Just in silence.
It has worked for many, many years. You never had to explain it. But
so I was
the process of making that thing grow was interesting,
right?
Because I've done it before. We have a Ladies' Tale series where we take small stories that we definitely know there's more to them, and we'll grow them into novellas. And so that's what I did. And then it turned out that we had major interest in the story, but they wanted it to be a novel.
So that was interesting.
So wow. And they were like the deadline. So they told us in October that they wanted a novel. We turned it in the first week of December.
So it was just it was very interesting.
It went from 100 and some pages to like almost triple that size. Yeah.
Wow. It was very interesting too, because there's someone that had to die, and I kept looking at Wilnona like, but I don't want to kill them. I don't want to kill them. I don't want to kill them, but I can't kill them.
We get really attached to our characters. And there have been plenty of times where I've like written in my killer, but then I like really like them as a character. I was like, I don't want them to be the bad guy. And so trying to kind of figure out like, okay, well, who else can be my murderer in this storyline? So how did you take 100 pages and triple it? Like what was like, where along in the process did you like find or feel that you could expand upon what was going on, or the scenarios that are popping up, and maybe just like tell us a little bit about Pete and Violet's story, because not only do we have these two really charming main characters, but there is a very like juicy cast that surrounds them. So like tell us a little bit about building out their world and the people within it.
Well, adding those other characters really did help us to build out the
so
world. Also,
I will say
yes.
there are two real stories that happened. So my mother owned a cleaning business, and one day some of her staff called out, and I had to go fill in as an emergency. And then as I'm vacuuming a floor, I look up, and the lady's like, "That looks a lot like you," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's me on TV." And she's like, "Wait, are you a famous house cleaner? That doesn't go." And that is actually where she got the idea from. Like, how would you hide it? And then I remember the 13 times that we went bankrupt, pretty much. Yeah. So we were like,
bank errors happen.
Give the money. And we actually knew a guy that actually saved us from, we were on tour in Europe, and we went to our bank account and it zeroed out. And the guy who actually saved us and found our money within 48 hours so we could actually get home. We based the character off of him. One of them. And then kind of like Belinda. Belinda was your idea.
Belinda, because let's just
she
talk
wasn't
about
in the original
She
book.
wasn't. But Pete and Violet, now that they're broke, right? Because the bank has lost their $7.2 million. They don't know where. They have no idea where it is.
Oh gosh, what a nightmare.
So
it is.
Yeah, so they're trying to like make sure that everything is good, and then how are we gonna make these ends meet? What are we gonna do? So they start house cleaning, but then they're trying to hide it, and just like a lot of people are today, we have haters, right? The people that just don't want to see us do well, no matter what happens. And so Belinda is pretty much that for them. She is a blogger that loves to try to catch them in embarrassing moments and be like, they're not the tech darlings, they're more like tech trash. And that's what she really wants them to be, and they keep rising above her. So it's been very interesting.
Mrs. Matthews was based on some of the stories that my mom had told before. And one of the times when I was cleaning the house and I looked up, the lady was very upset that I was famous.
Also,
very upset. And I was like, "Who? If we explain this all the way out, how would that work?" And so there you go.
The moment. All right. So one of the vacuuming stories is actually from that, because I was her good friend and I helped her out.
Yeah, she did that day. Yeah.
Ooh, Big Bertha. Yeah, that's definitely because Big Bertha was one of those like 1950s Kirby vacuum. You know, the ones that you have to, you have to hold on with them with both hands and kind of plant your feet.
So there's a little girl, 4'10". There's a vacuum that's almost as tall as her. And when you cut it on, it's like got a jet engine in it.
And so I'm just like, someone unplug it. What's happening? No, so anybody else have that experience, or was it just me?
Please write it in the comments or something.
Let us know, folks, if you've had any vacuum cleaner mishaps. I'm trying to think of any really that come to mind, and just like trying to like not like I had lost like an earring or something, and like that's the worst issue that I've had with my vacuum cleaner, thank goodness. So I do want to say hi to our folks that are in the chat chiming in today. We've got Farmhouse Reader saying hello to everybody, DHBA saying happy Wednesday to oh no, it's not happy Wednesday, it's a happy Tuesday, which then corrected. So folks, if you have questions as we go along, please make sure that you're signed into your YouTube or Gmail account, and you can pop in questions for our wonderful guests today. So let's talk.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was going to say one way.
For sure.
The really fun part was because as Wilnona said, her mom had a cleaning service. So the really fun part was making these people not clean very well. Because they went from high school to college. They kind of did this app in college. So after college, like there was nobody so they had their own maid. So they don't actually know how to clean very well. And so taking the knowledge of how to clean very well and like flipping it on his head has been
so fun,
hilarious.
Well, that makes me ask then. you sound like it was a lot of fun, kind of taking assumptions and turning them inside out. And so can you talk a little bit about that process? You know, were there more than just the cleaning things, the cleaning parts where you said, okay, we could totally turn this around, or we could, you know, totally mess with those expectations to, you know, to add whether it was the humor or plot twists, you know, can you talk a little bit about that maybe?
Well, Wilnona does her own noir series, so she loves writing thrillers. So it's very hard for us for her to write something that was cozy, because she was like, but their head could get blown off right here, and the gray matter could be on the wall. We won't do that in cozy mysteries.
That was hard. That was hard because like she writes very nice. Like she developed the characters of Violet, and she developed the characters of Pete, and hiding the fact that they were house cleaning and stuff like that. She developed that. And then when she was like, cozy mystery, dear, that's how we're expanding it. And I was like, okay, mystery is what I heard. So I'm running through doing mystery plots because she's like, she throws in stuff, and then we're like, okay, yeah, no, this is a good plot, that's a good plot, this is a good turn. And I'm like, great, I know exactly how to turn this. And so in a noir, often the person's brain just explodes. You explain how the bullet went through the skull, through the frontal lobe, went on through the speech paths, comes out the back end, or probably down through you describe the angle, and it comes through the neck and blows. You describe all of that. And I'm like, here, this is great. And she's like, no.
I'm like, I'm so glad
they don't.
We're sharing this document. No, this is too much. No.
And then, like, so I had one of the beta readers read it, and they were like, cut back on the death, please.
How bad it is.
So it's like about 4 pages short. Shorter than it was. And she's still like, it's still a little rough, but it's right on that cozy line.
So when you're writing a cozy mystery, you do have to, like, there are, like, the rules that you have to follow. Otherwise, you know, you kind of maybe get in a little bit of trouble with readers. So was there any, for me personally in cozies, it's always the hardest with clean language, because there are just some times where, like, you're in a certain situation and, like, you know, gosh darn it, isn't quite gonna hit as hard as something else. But trying to figure out a way to express, like, frustration or anger or what have you. Were there any other challenges that you guys had kind of taking your ideas and making them work within the cozy mystery genre?
In book 2, it was ridiculously hard.
Well, it's not quite out yet. But yeah,
it's not out yet, but it was hard. Book 1 for me.
Well, it was hard for the death. And then I had to remember to, like, do, because I like humorous books, so you have to put in more quips, which is really funny for people around me, because I had to tell them, I said, listen, now I'm writing, so please forgive me, because now my mouth is going to be smarter than it normally is.
And it was.
I'm going to come back on you very quickly. And it's not like, these are things I would say in my head, I wouldn't say out loud, but now since I have to write these characters, either like they're just saying it out loud. I'm really sorry, y'all. So that, and I guess not the clean language.
I think the clean language is never a problem for us. I mean, we were writing a show that we were trying to pitch to HBO, but we only pitched it to Apple, and it's a clean language show.
It's very interesting.
Mature content.
It's very interesting. Very interesting.
But so, like, clean language is never a problem. But what was the problem was that she was saying she had to kill someone, and then we had to figure out a way to kill them that wasn't the way I would kill them. Right? Because I had lots of ways to kill people. So I'm involved in axe. Yes, ice pick, cement.
Yes,
I've been writing noir since I was 12.
Yeah. The way that that lady got is done away with. I actually found that answer while being in a bar and talking to somebody. I said, "Oh my goodness, this is exactly how she's dying."
I love.
So she keeps
running
around to tell me, and I was like, "Great, now I have research."
It was so good. It was so good. There was a good way. I was like, "Yay!" Yeah,
that's always that's what, when you have, like, that aha moment of, like, oh, that's a really, like, interesting way to kill somebody. And we have a question from one of our audience members. We have Farmhouse Reader asking, I didn't realize that there were rules in the cozy mystery world. Are they unwritten? And I don't know. I feel like there are a lot of books about writing cozies where the rules are explicitly stated, but I think there's an expectation from readers. But what do you got? What is your take on, like, the rules of cozy mystery?
I think it's like romance. Like it's definitely a way to do it. Tropes are very much so in cozy mysteries. I mean, you can choose to ignore a few, which is always fun. I love the cozy mystery writers that choose. You're like, oh, you're not supposed to do that. I love it. Thank you for doing that. This is great. So yeah, there are certain rules, and I guess certain expectations. Like, don't make your person die too late.
That we did not follow.
That person, yeah. So I'm sorry, y'all.
I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, it does.
But the house cleaner is missing, so it's the beginning of a mystery at the beginning, and then money and the house cleaner are gone. Yay!
So actually, the first time we wrote the book, we sent it in, and they were like, they're dying too late. It's very boring, and I was like, oh. So then we had to go back and do a rewrite, and that's where I was like, I know what to do. We're gonna make somebody go missing. Yeah, because that's exactly what I would do in noir. Of course, when they found them, they would not be as
alive.
As alive, yeah.
So there you go. Well, and hey, unfortunately, our time is running short here, but we do have another question. DHBA asks, so the two of you co-writing, how do you work out conflicting ideas between the two of you?
I win.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Wilnona can win because it's okay. Because she'll be like, I have a conflicting idea. And I'm like, but I think this would be, and she'd be like, Cosmo? And I say, okay, you know what? You win. Bestie, you know me so
bribery
well.
Then.
Well, I think it's because I believe when we first started our group for Women in Some Poetry, they normally let me win because I had seniority because I was a published author when I was 10 years old. So, yeah, I have more seniority.
But also, I feel like she just has, as I always tell everyone, just get a Wilnona, right? Because she's the one with the big ideas that will push it further than it ever should be pushed. It's like, and then I think it ever should be pushed. But it turns out normally very, very well. So... in a partnership, you have to trust that person has your back and best interests at heart. And plus, I know how to use the backspace key. So if I really hate it that much, I'm going to shorten it.
Like she did with the death scene. Backspace. Oh, my goodness. But, like, I would like to say, like, because she's let me do so much, we've been able to do so much. Like, the interviews, the reality show, the clothing line, all of that. London. All of that was because she allowed me to just take the wheel and run.
But again, when you're working with a really good person and they have your best interest in mind, sometimes it's okay to relinquish that with control, right? And just be like, I want that person to do what they do best. And now if you want some details, you're going to come to me. Because I'm a detail and some jokes. I am definitely a lot of the joke writer. I am definitely that person. But a lot of times when it comes to plot stuff, she's done more mysteries than I can count. So, okay, you know how to keep it going. Yeah, so and she knows how to keep it going, right? So why wouldn't I just trust that that's her way to do it and it'll be done well.
Although I depended on her a lot this time. I'm not gonna lie. I have been listening to cozy mysteries for days in and days out, but she knows the schematics and the rules, the unspoken rules that have to go.
Yep. Well, it sounds like, I mean, that your partnership is incredible, and having that trust is essential. And I mean, I can just see the joy that you both bring to the craft, and just like being around each other, like that speaks volumes to the strength of your trust and dedication to one another, which is just truly amazing to see, and to know that you guys have so much to yet accomplish as well. Like it's just so exciting to see you on this journey, and thank you for sharing that with us, and for sharing your joy and your these wonderful stories with us and our audience members. These we call them these moments because they are so fleeting, and it always goes by so quickly, and we could talk for hours and hours about all that you guys are doing. But it sounds like we have another book in with the famous house cleaners coming. Is that something that is soon on the horizon, or where should people sign up, stay connected with you to find out more?
Definitely be out by May 19th. So we are actually right now working on covers. So I mean, with that, how close we are. So yeah, so it should be up and out in Amazon and everywhere else. You get your books on.
You can follow us on Facebook. It's Jade Wilnona. Yeah, Jade Wilnona on Facebook. And I would say Instagram, but like I don't post anything but the Emmy pictures.
We're old.
Mhm.
I'm old and I'm tired. I'm like, it's too many. I need an assistant.
We need a Violet and Pete.
Yeah, I do. I need one of those.
Or Greta.
I need a Greta.
I think we all need a Violet and Pete in our lives. But before we close out, what we like to do is we always like to see like what is keeping you entertained these days, what's bringing you joy, anything that you can recommend for our readers to either read, watch, listen to, just relax to. Always curious about what is out there.
So I have definitely been listening to a bunch of Daniel Carson is a cozy mystery, the Hopeless series. Also, for always Camilla Monk, right? Always Camilla Monk. We love Camilla. She is hilarious.
And she picks amazing desserts. That's the most important part. That lady knows how to eat.
She knows how to pick great desserts. We had the pleasure of hanging out with her, not eating with her, because my mind was like, oh, those desserts were so good. You had the pleasure of hanging out with her.
4 restaurants.
Yeah, and it was so good. So I'm always reading Camilla Monk or listening to it at some point, because you have to go revisit your faves, right? You got to go back and revisit your faves.
And y'all, I'm sorry, I'm really basic right now, but it's the Finley Donovan series. I think everyone knows it exists, but like, I can't get enough.
Yep.
I'm trying to stop, but I can't. And of course, then I stick with the basics, as I said, and Ivanovich.
There's no reason to stop. Finley Donovan is wonderful.
Yes.
And that is a treat. And so we have new things to add to our reading list. And folks, again, we have the Famous House Cleaners is out now. Does book 2 have a title that we can share, or just know that it's on the horizon?
So it's the Famous House Cleaners, all bleached up, Misfit Guides.
Nice.
All right.
Love it.
There we go. All bleached.
That's one of the things. That's one of the things that I love most about Cozy Mysteries is the fun titles that we get to enjoy. So it looks like we'll be looking forward to that happening very soon, ladies. So thank you again. We have Jade Dee and Wilnona Marie. Folks, head to their Facebook page. Make sure that you're following so you can keep in touch and hear about all of the amazing things, not just mysteries that these wonderful women are up to. You mentioned clothing lines, like so much that is going on. So it just sounds, again, a pleasure chatting with you and hearing your story. And we hope that you will grace us with another visit at some point in the future, because I don't know, JC, this might have been probably the most I've laughed during a show, I think, ever. So I think that's what we need in our world. So we greatly appreciate you being here with us today.
We really want to say thank you so much for having us on. I know I know you're doing your wrap up, but we want to say thank you so much for having us on and promoting us. We appreciate it.
Oh, absolute pleasure.
Yeah, our pleasure. This was a blast. You two are just, it's like Sarah said, it was such a treat. It was so much fun. It's been great meeting you. And like Sarah said, hopefully we can do it again sometime in the future.
Yes. Most definitely. And again, for our viewers that joined us here live, we have a Farmhouse Reader in the comments saying, I agree, it was great. So very much very much enjoy our live audience. For our folks that are watching after the fact, we hope that you had fun. Please leave a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, we are working our way towards that 1,000 subscriber goal. We would really appreciate it. And we have another guest with us this week. Terry Mao is joining us on Thursday, I believe at 4 o'clock. Yes. Again, it might be 4:30, but keep an eye out for my email to let you know. But until then, and we see each other, stay bookish, everybody. Thank you, and have a good one. Bye.